Here we Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to day two of our two-day event, Publishing on Purpose, where I'm sharing my five-step formula to publishing, writing, publishing, and promoting your business-generating brand book in 90 days, give or take, right? So I'm glad that you're here. I'm excited to see you. As we take a dive into day two and recap just a little bit of day one. I know that a lot of you had an opportunity to watch day one replay. I received several emails on the topics and the titles that you've come up with. So getting to a place where we get to land those today and also getting a little bit more feedback and follow up and inspiration on really creating today, if you didn't already do it on day one, but really mapping out on your calendar how many days you're going to write per week, how much time you're going to spend writing based on the amount of words that you'd like to write in your book, and mapping that out on your calendar. We talked about the outline yesterday. I gave you some homework to do some timed writing exercises. So I hope to hear again more about that today or after today's replay. As I mentioned, I've gotten some emails with some topics and some titles, so I'll chat about those in a few short moments. But find yourself in a nice, cozy, connected space for yourself. I believe this is always important when we're learning and we're desiring a deeper level of inspiration, which is oftentimes why we attend events like this, to get a nugget or two or three of wisdom. And what I have found for myself as a soul-inspired entrepreneur that really focuses on taking work time, if you want to call it that, maybe 5 to 8 hours a week. Right, I know, isn't that wonderful? Um, because I set my space up, and so I set my space up in a way that I'm surrounded by things that keep me inspired, and the activities, the business generating activities seemingly get done a whole lot more effectively and efficiently because I'm surrounded by things that I love. So there's another entrepreneur tip for those of you that were looking for one today. So what are we learning today? I'm going to go back through the five-step formula. So let me get my slideshow up a little bit here. And I've changed it a little bit and brought it to an easier place for me to manage and see some things I want to see. So this is me, Mary Gooden. I like to say CEO and founder of my brilliant life. And this is true for me. Let's take a moment and kind of bring in this vibrational energy of being open, willing, and committed to exploring more about who you are, what impact you desire to make, um, especially with your book, with your message. And perhaps you've come up with your own affirmation or your own mantra, but just bringing that energy in, that energy of excitement for what it is that you're writing about, what it is that you desire to share with your community, with your readers, with your family as your legacy. And as we know, the business generating brand book, it's short, it's concise. If you ask me, it's fun. Everything's fun, but it's fun, it's fun. Um, why? Why is it fun? Because people actually say, I finished your book and I took action. Like they can remember an action they took because it's fun. It's short, it's sweet, it's concise. It does all the same things. And why are we kind of reviewing this right off the bat? Because I'm just inviting you back into the energy, reminding you of your whys, Every morning I get up and remind myself or remember or align with or call in or surrender to my whys. And here are some of the biggest whys. And again, I keep looking at this number two, this client attraction system, and every part of my heart is like, it's building relationships. Just, just in case that feels icky for you. And I'm not knowing that it feels icky for me. I have brand strategies. So I do more than just books. And client attraction is the thing. It is the impact. But sometimes we talked about yesterday, words are important. So, number two is if you know in your heart of hearts that you came here to build relationships with people, and maybe you haven't woken up with that yet, or maybe you have in so many words, this is another grand way to do so. The impact, the fulfillment, the passive income, even when you say, well, I'm not really doing it for money. Don't shoo money away like that. No. If money wants to find you in fun streams, in passive ways, that passive, what does that mean? Like, oh my gosh, PayPal notifications when I'm out hiking in Sedona. Yes, that was one of the first things I called in when I moved to Sedona. Like, hey, you know what would be fun? Is for me to receive passive income while I'm out here playing on the land. Magic, luck, authenticity, alignment would have it that that's exactly the way that life expanded for me. Yes, I named a lot of things. Some would call it luck, some would call it alignment, some would call it flow, whatever you call it. It's available and I won't shoo it away. Do I feel like the impact I came here to create is way bigger than any amount of money that I can expand into? Yeah, but because I'm committed to expanding into that level of impact, the universe wants to show me riches. So it's a matter of perception. So go out and put on your, one of your little mantra sticky notes. I'm ready for a passive income. Just see what happens. Well, if you're playing with me, let's get playful. What stands in the way? Now, I'm going to talk about this really briefly again today, but just because yesterday I had this with a client. She's launching her book in a month. Julie might also remember a point in this, and in a month. And so, really, we are at the final phase of turning over, delivering the manuscript. Even though when it goes to the next step, and we'll talk about next steps today with like what happens after when I do that, what happens after my manuscript is ready. And it's time to kind of let it go. Like you're sending, for those of you that have children, like you're putting your son or your daughter or a dog, right? Maybe you're a dog mom or dad on the bus or in the kennel for the first time or something like that. It's a big energy delivering your manuscript. And this is where I see, again, she was just almost the message I got, I could hear the panic. I could hear that in her voice. And and I do what I feel like I do best. Again, not boasting, but just as a reflection of the testimonies I receive back from my clients, which is all that I have to base my experiences on, is I said, I get it. I know exactly how you're feeling right now in this moment, and I understand it. And this is your moment, and it's going to feel like this. It's going to feel like you're taking something that you're very deeply proud of, that you poured into, and you are giving it to the world. And of course, gosh, I could probably have a notebook full of things, probably a book. Maybe that's an invitation for my next book, full of the things I've heard and the things that people go through at this very moment. And to relate to those, that it's a real thing and it's a real experience and it's a real energy. and it's really your time. So, just in case anybody is dancing with that or getting close to, and for those of you catching the replay, that I know that you're working on it as you've sent me your topics and your titles, which I'll shoot a couple out here in a moment. Um, it's a very real experience, and that's why people oftentimes look at the ways that they're going to bring this out into the world, because you don't have to do it alone, and you can, but you don't have to. That's why hybrid publisher is available. That's why traditional publishers are available. That's why book coaches and mentors are available for this process, because it's a big energy. It's like building a house. And do I get a contract? These are the questions you get to ask. Do I get a contractor? Do I get a subcon? What do I do? So, um, let's just take a deep breath into that. What do I do? Well, you do what feels best in your body first and foremost. You tune in. Again, reminder, I support and lead as a soul inspired entrepreneur. So some of the things that I say may not be reflective of what you're going to hear from traditional publishing or somewhere else. You tune into your own experience and how you deeply desire for it to roll out, and you communicate that. And in the communication to that, you grow, you heal, and you learn. And that's why writing a book is more than just writing a book. And so here we are. We've got a title, we've got some takeaways, we've got a topic. We're leaning into what our readers, what our community, what our clients yearn for from us, by way of paying attention to how they speak to us, or paying attention to the atmosphere, being in awareness, which is day one in my book, of what seems to be attracting itself to me. What do I hear a lot about? And how does it fall into alignment with what I want to support people with? And then you go into, here it is, here's my writing. I've got the outline. I'm coming up with my objectives. I'm choosing if I want to have, you're definitely going to have a copyright page. Let's look at those. You're definitely going to want to have a contents page. Maybe you want an introduction. Maybe you call it a preface. There's different names for this, but this is just, hello, reader. I'm glad you're here. And I'm excited to share my input on your topic, why it's important to you, why you're an expert at it, some short story time, and just really encouraging your reader to be excited about taking the next step into reading your book. For my book, has an introduction, and it's kind of like, here's how to prepare your space before you dive in. So I kind of did a preparation. And I also had a foreword written about a year and a half, 2 years before this book came to life. It was so fun. And my friend, colleague in publishing, now more in visibility and marketing, um, she interviewed me while I was walking on one of my favorite hikes in Sedona. And then she wrote the foreword. So it's very special and super cool. So you can do things like that for your book, like make it unique to you. What do you want to put in there? Now, I get it. I get like there's a coach over here saying, well, what sells? And there's a person over here that has a belief system that says you can only do it this way. And there's this over here that says, I don't know, that has another piece of advice for you. But at the end of the day, it's your book, it's your work, it's your unique approach. And that's why I believe in hybrid publishing, or the style of publishing that I like to deliver, which is a shared experience of what I've seen in the industry of soul inspired entrepreneurs, and why it's important for you to take your own sweet little unique step and put your own little stamp on it somewhere. So that's that. Let's talk about this. Let's go right in now to ways to publish. I think that's a great little segue. So there's three ways to publish. So I'm going to talk about those three ways today, briefly. And I'm going to give you, let me give you some of the, let me give you some of the topics and titles after this. I'll do it. So there's three ways I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about traditional publishing. I'm on my stability ball, so I'm going to, I love to move. It moves energy. It helps me stay in alignment. Traditional publishing, self-publishing, and then there's hybrid publishing. So there's three ways really that you're going to hear about rolling. And just to lay it out there, hybrid's at the bottom, but that's basically who I be. I am basically almost like your liaison, your cheerleader, your support system, between a traditional phase or a self-publishing, where you're not in this thing alone and you're not just a number in a big swarm of authors. So that's basically what hybrid publishing is. You might think of it as a smaller space, but also uniquely designed to match your audience that your client attraction system is actually calling in. And that's why I keep telling you, why does she keep saying she supports soul-inspired entrepreneurs? Because that is my audience. And it's a rather large audience. Between the 18 plus multi-author books that I put chapters in and also published, I have many solo authors, hundreds of authors. And this is the community that has built itself around me. And so if you know that you have a niche, or that you have a flavor that's maybe not soul inspired. Let me try to think of something else. Maybe your AI, I'm going to just use AI. I'm not saying that we don't use AI but you're really hard focused on something. It's important for you to align with. If you're going to hire a publisher, I believe it's important for you to align the energy of who you are and see how that matches with the publisher that you're going to choose, if you're going to choose publishing between traditional and hybrid. It's going to be really important because that's kind of the audience that they've created. And then also the difference between how publishing services actually do share their audience, what that looks from a marketing perspective, and all kinds of fun things to look at. But let's talk about traditional publishing. Traditional publishing is they offer all-inclusive packages, and I'm sure they offer a la carte packages. They have credibility. The deal with traditional publishing, it's oftentimes can be a lengthy process. I believe you have to have a good version of your manuscript available if you want to pitch your manuscript to them. There's an approval process based on what they're aligned with. So we would call that censorship in some ways, that they're censoring information. They're approving. There's an approval process. So in an approval process, we experience loss of our creative voice sometimes. That's where that falls in. And then there's a low royalties. And so what I mean by that, usually with the contracts that you create in traditional publishing spaces, you create contracts based on upfront fees, royalty share plans. I'm sure there's several, again, different levels, but usually with traditional publishing, there is a royalty share plan in place, which, let's just hypothetically, they take 90% of your royalties for 10 years or 5 years, or you're just working out these ideas. This is once you get through your approval process, I imagine then you can step into the contract and see what different packages they offer. And the outcome varies based on the company. I talked about that a little bit just a few lines ago with ensure that you're choosing a publishing house that feels in alignment with who you are, because that is what your outcome is going to be based on that company, based on perhaps the audience that's been built around that company. And then there are high rejection rates. Again, this is an approval process. So imagine you're a traditional publisher and you're one of these bigger traditional publishing houses, and they have hundreds of authors submitting manuscripts every day. So that's just what that looks like. That's just to back up what you're reading on the slide. Then you have self-publishing, which is you get the whole wheel, right? Everything's yours. Um, Let me just see if okay, I just didn't know if somebody was coming in. My screen shifted. You get the copyrights and the royalties. And just so I can go up one to traditional, I didn't talk about the copyrights. That too becomes a package, something that's worked out in your contract, who gets the copyrights to what you've written. So, but self-publishing, you get it all, man. It's all yours, all of it. Who's going to edit my book? How am I going to format it? Like, it's all yours. Like, you have to find the people. You have to interview. Generally, you'll interview the people. How do I find a good editor? So you have to go through that process. How do I find what am I going to use for formatting software? And I have to dive into that process. Cover designer, where am I going to get them? Yes, there's a lot of places online. You can find this stuff on Fiverr. You can find this stuff on 99 Designs. But then if you are like me, in some ways, I'll call myself out. Like, how do I know that I can trust any of these mofos? And you know what that does for me? I'm on my ball and I just like, I sink back. And then I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this today. And then a month goes by and I'm not going to deal with this today. And then before I know it, I have a manuscript on my computer that's 3 years old. Don't think that this isn't a story of one of my clients. It is, because time flies and manuscripts sit there. They don't go anywhere until you do that thing, right? Because and then there's that thing. There's that thing like, okay, what's everybody gonna think? So there's some energy that goes in there. You find all the people, you find all the things. So it can be a lengthy process, or you can be motivated. And this 2-day workshop that I'm delivering, this event for you, you can take everything and you can run with it, and you can send me an email in 4 weeks and say, Mary, I did it. And I'm going to celebrate you way more than you probably could see celebration, because I love to be in celebration and joy. Um, it's my thing. And then there's me, there's a hybrid publishing, also all-inclusive packages, also a la carte packages, um, full control. This is where it kind of gets into how does traditional publishing and hybrid publishing combine itself? Yeah. So all inclusive, full control, copyrights and royalties, all yours. Credibility and community. So some of you know me, some of you don't quite know me. But I've built a community. There is a community. In fact, what was coming through this morning after I did my little frolic through the naturescapes, love it, love my life, love my life. And there's a mantra song that I listen to that says that, I love my life, right? So I realized that a client that's launching her book next month, from simply surviving to radically thriving, 5 steps to the unstoppable you. And another friend of mine who I met in Florida 2 years ago at keynoting camp, She has a group and a show that's about surviving and thriving. And they were celebrating 5 years, and then instantly I saw Lee's post, and I was like, Ellen, she's going to have Ellen interviewed on her surviving to thriving. Ellen's going to talk about her new book, and that's launching, and voila. That's what community will get you. And so she's going to get this live showcase on a very matchy. The audience is eye for eye, hand for hand, heart for heart, her vibe. And that's what community gets you. That's why I love this in between. This is why hybrid publishing, why I felt so compelled to become a publisher, is because of the community. Faster process. A lot of my clients, they come to me with, you come to me with the timeline that you really want, and obviously I'll say yay or nay, or here's what we can do, and we just go for it. I have a small team of editors and formatters and cover designers. It's one-stop shop. And that's what expedites the process also. Tried and true. I've had the same team for the last 3 years, and hundreds of authors, 100% success rate in best-selling launches and getting books out there. So that's fun. And there's a lot of hybrid publishers out there now, and think of them too as you could think of them as locally owned businesses, to tell you the truth, or women owned or men owned, that are smaller, that I don't want to say smaller, but more out of the box, and there's a relationship, or for me, there's a relationship I want to build. And so there is an approval process also. I always book a call with potential clients before I take on any projects, because I want to make sure that everything is in alignment so that I can consistently deliver what you've kind of seemingly seen from me over the last few days. Me, this very joyful, very inspiring, very powerful presence, and very confident and excited to see you thrive, to see you enlighten, to see you shine. And so, with that being said, the outcome of hybrid publishers can also vary. So that is all about ways to publish. I think that I covered everything from that scope, but let me just look at some notes and take a deep breath in. I want to share some of the titles that came through from earlier. If you need to take a little break and refill your tea or your coffee or use the little girls' room, now is a great, little girls or little boys, my apology. Go refresh yourself. I want to go through the 5 steps, getting into editing a little bit deeper. And I want to talk about some of the biggest, let's talk about some of I don't like to use the word mistakes so much, but some things you might want to avoid when looking for an outlet to publish or looking for ways to publish. And are also going to talk about promotion. So let me go get some of those titles. I put them on a document. Close this little slideshow down for me, get more eyes on my own screen. And see here. If there's any questions coming in, you can certainly pop those into the chat. Not mean to close that, but I did. When you have all these blessings, all these all these beautiful windows available, right? You close things down that you are looking for. All right, come over here, Google Doc. So here's one that came through for Shelley, and she is leaning into her title is she's writing about self-love, basically, and grace, and she has created 5 tips to flow with grace, GRACE. And what she's come up with for a title is Journey to the Heart of Grace. And she's got 2 subtitles working, a self-love survival guide, and then the 5 essential elements of grace. So after going through the title and the topic, she also did the 3-day challenge, which I hosted last week on this. These are seemingly some of the things that have come through for her. And again, she's going to do a bit of her story as she moves through these 5 elements of what grace, what's the G means, and what grace means. So she's really getting this thing fleshed out. Because she gave herself, she prioritized her time. We talked about that a little bit yesterday, prioritizing our time. Let's also look at Amanda sent something. Amanda is like happiness in a box. Really, her backdrop in Zoom is all smiley faces. She is just happiness everywhere. And let's see what she came up with. Super fun. She is doing 20, she's doing 52 happy hints to bring more joy to others. And what did she come up with for her title? She's got a group. So this is good that she's done this because she has a Facebook group, which is called Project Shape. And she uses the analogies with shape, spreading happiness across planet Earth. So that's her shape. And so part of that, I think, is subtitling how to get in shape. But, oh, I just had it. Where did it go? I just had the title. Oh, let's get, well, that's the shape. Let's get in, well, she's working with it. Let's get in shape together is one thing she's working on. What was the other one? Yeah, cultivating your inner happy. So she's got 52. This is what she fleshed out in her outline. She's doing 52 happiness hints, one for each week of the year. Right? We're having fun with this. Why not have fun? And then Laura, I'll give you one more, just so you can kind of reflect at what you came up with yesterday, or just maybe you're writing another book, or somebody starts coming to you about a book, or you just, knowledge is, wisdom is wealth. So we're learning something here together, gaining more wisdom. We talked about Tara's yesterday, who already launched. Laura's is about tuning into your feminine. She works with feminine priestess. Let me pull up her email. Where are you, darling? Rise Divine Earth Angel. And she's going to be putting 7 prayers. So yeah, I get all this information. She's working with 7 prayers. She has 13 total. And so she's only doing 7 for this first book. And it's a Sophia prayer pathway for healing the divine feminine. So she relates to earth angels. You may recognize, like, I'm an earth angel. That's me. I had my wings yesterday when I was running. And then she's talking about the prayers, the Sophia prayers. So these are channeled prayers from Mary, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene, and the Sophia's, other Sophia goddesses. So those are just some ideas that came through so far from yesterday's day 1. So I love that. Sharing is caring. I love when people are willing to share what they're coming up with, even though I know that sometimes we have a fear in us that what if somebody takes my idea, something like that. So for those of you that shared, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, so I would like to get a little writing time. Just for those of you that have worked out your topic and title, you've worked out your takeaways. I'd love to give you an opportunity to write for 10 or so minutes, just again to add to your timeline so you have an idea of what it is you are the speed that you're writing at. So again, that you can walk away today and you can email me after you watch the replay and say, here's my timeline. I'm going to write 500 words 3 times a week, or that's my goal. I'm going to shoot for 1,500 words a week, or I'm going to shoot for 10,000 words a month, depending on how big your book is going to be. These things are seemingly important. It helps us prioritize the time instead of wondering. And you might recognize this, like if you go into open space and you say, well, I'm just going to write, I'm just going to put a chunk of time in place to write, and there's not another goal or even a reward on the end of that goal, which I highly recommend rewarding yourself after you've completed. So at the end of the week, if you've met your 2,000 word or 1,500 word minimum, reward yourself with whatever you want. I mean, this is what I use on my retreats. I say, put some things on pieces of paper that you really enjoy doing, and then have a cute little vase or a fish bowl or something cute like this. I found this out in my yard, this cute little pot, and you put the little pieces of paper in there, and then once a week when you're rewarding yourself for doing your writing, you pick one and you go do it. Simple. I have the funnest ideas. They require very little time to discern. Let's go pick something out of the bowl, and it'll be like a childlike experience 99% of the time. So, first things first, because I know I don't want to leave you hanging. What are some of the things that we can avoid when we're picking a publishing outlet or a way to publish or stepping forward? Um, Editing, ensuring that you put out a manuscript that is edited professionally. And that does, generally, a good editor is going to cost money. But this is important because you don't want to put something that has a lot of typos. You don't want to put out anything more for anybody else to judge aside from your words in a clean and beautiful manner. Let's look at it that way. Um, and so if you go the self-publishing route, because hypothetically, as a self-publishing route, you can really do everything for free in some sentences. You can, I think Grammarly has a free editing platform. Um, Amazon allows you to format. They have some free software. But it's important that you use these things, and these things take time and quality assurance. So don't skip out if you feel like one thing that's holding your manuscript back is that you just don't feel like it's been edited properly. Push put the funds aside, get the funds, and make this a priority that you have somebody review your manuscript. So editing is important, as is cover design. I am keen on having the funnest covers. Now, this may not reflect you. I love this cover. I created it, and with a little support from my cover designers, they meshed all the things in. But you, for yourself, first of all, want to put out a cover that's appealing to you. And I think more and more and more they can be fun. And they can be DIY, do it yourself. But make sure you're using a software like Canva and getting things in the right line and the right shape and the right format for your cover. So, quality of work, in essence, especially when we're DIYing things, is also important. So these are just things to avoid. a book without having a clear target word or words that target your ideal audience. Important. So that topic, that title, that subtitle. It's important. And I encourage you, if you have your own community or fan source or family source, to play hot or not with it. We do this in my small groups. I have a small group space where we write business generating brand books. It's done with you. That keeps it affordable. And that's what we do, hot or not. Like, tell me your title, tell me your things, and we all look at it and we say, well, I don't get it, or I get it. That's another reason why community can be helpful. But you can have a community, ask them, do you like this? Does it speak to you? And if it does speak to you, what does it speak to you? Don't be afraid to ask if you have clients already. Don't be afraid to ask them to reflect back. Do you see yourself in this? Things like that. Um, Pricing, I think, is important. But you can go on Amazon and look at the different price points for the different pages or the different genres, and go from there. With best-selling launches, there's a whole strategy to pricing the ebook and then pricing the paperback. And then ISBNs, there is always that if you're self-publishing, you do have to purchase. I recommend that you purchase, rephrase that, your own ISBN. It's a book number. And Bowker, Bowker, Bowker sells ISBN numbers. And so grab one of those. If you publish on Amazon, they will give you one and create one and for you. However, you just cannot sell that book with that ISBN number off of the Amazon platform. So I just highly recommend, in some of my programs, I already have ISBNs that come with my packages, so it's not a worry. But there is a step there to look up ISBN. Bowker.com, Bowker.com does sell ISBNs, right? I'm giving you all of it. And then some people don't quite get excited about promoting that they're writing a book before it's published because it's a busy thing, which is also again why I encourage you to go in a direction where you have support, because there are a lot of bits and pieces. To start talking about that you're writing a book, to start getting and collecting more of an engaged audience that will buy your book during the time that you're writing it. And so having a scheduled time for that, or having a reminder to do that, or having a small community that supports you and understand, in the process, so it feels easy and fun. That's why choosing other ideas beyond self-publishing can be helpful. Yes, 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 yes. So let's see if we have any questions. Cheryl, I'm glad you made it in. Julie, yesterday I wrote down for a possible next book title. That's great, Julie. That's exciting. Isn't it fun? Once you get out one, then another one. And I think from experience, I'm on my third. I think it does get a little bit easier with each one, I guess they say that again, I'm not just speaking to a female, but they say that with babies too, but because books are like babies or baby businesses too. Once you start one business, streaming three other incomes maybe is a little easier. And welcome, Sylvie, Cheryl. I'm glad you made it your way over. So here we are. So I don't see any questions. I'd like to take some time. Cheryl, I don't know if if you have a book that you're writing or a topic or a title that you have tuned into. I know that you've just registered, so I don't know that you got the replay from yesterday. But just giving us a little information in the chat if you're writing a book, what takeaways that might be in that book, or what words, things that might be part of that would be amazing. Um, so I can lead us into really just getting some writing done for about 10 or 15 minutes, some time. We were doing 7 minutes yesterday. I think today we will do 10. And after we go through seemingly some of that, I've talked about some editing. I've talked a little bit about the formatting spots that are available and cover design. I want to reserve a chunk of time for promotion, um, creating the buzz. And I know Julie's like, yes, I want to know more about creating the buzz. So let's lean into our topic. Let's lean into our title. There she is. No replay yet. Um, good. Yeah, yeah. So we're going to lean into that. We're going to just stop for a minute and pause because I believe we get to set ourselves up for writing. I do this with all of my clients as a book coach and a mentor. It's just let's just pause and take a deep breath, close your eyes, and tune into that topic, tune into that title, tune into those takeaways, that impact that you desire to create through this written form, through this written legacy, through this book. And just kind of breathe into that. I find it in my heart space. You might find it somewhere else in your body, but just tune into it. Tune into perhaps the family that you are creating a legacy with, for the community, the clients that surround you, the clients that you desire to surround you. And then be with that book. That book, maybe it has a color. And connect with that book. That maybe your brand has a color. Maybe it has some shapes. And imagine holding that book in your hands, holding it in your hands. Oh, deep admiration for yourself for creating it. And this is always a fun way to engage with our book. Just did this yesterday with one of mine. Just, fluffing through the pages, just being with the book, and imagine that you're just ruffling the pages and allow the book to speak to you through you. Right? Maybe when you're ruffling through the pages, what is it that I feel most inspired to share about my book in this day, in this moment that we are going to go into that space of writing? And maybe you just stop on a page. Maybe you just stop and open one of the pages, and there is your inspiration. What is it that your book desires to be written through you today? What is that topic you see? What are the words that you see? What is the takeaway, the information that wishes to be brought forth for you today? Whether it leans into promoting what you've already created and or promoting what you are about to create. Mhm. And then a deep breath in. And then just taking your pen and your paper, taking your fingers to your keys. We'll come back at right at the top of the hour. Um, and we'll have a timer going and just allow these things to flow out of you. Writing is the first step. Writing is the first step to creating your book, and writing is the first step to promoting your book from your heart. My favorite things on the Zoom timer is the noise that it makes when it completes. It just feels like we've just received the, and here's your gold medal. Well done, everyone. Well done. Well done. So that's my favorite part of using the Zoom timer now that you've learned a little bit more about how much fun it can be to uh, be in. I just, let's see. Cheryl, I've sent the email for the replay has come out to you now, so I just wanted to check into that while I was gone. And yeah, just noting in the chat. There we go. Let me turn this app off. Okay, there it is. Good. Curious for you all to share anything in the chat if you'd like that chat that you came up with, or how many words you've written, or how you feel like writing is coming for you, and if having a little inspiration to settle in and imagine opening your book and allowing it to speak to you how it wants to read or what it wants to say. It's always such a fun experience to, we've been made to believe that somehow we're responsible for all of it. And sometimes I just change the question and just become part of the fun experience of, well, what does my book desire of me, and what feels like fun uh, when imagine my audience, the people that I purposefully am writing for. What does that feel like? What feels like fun for them to learn? I don't always have to know everything. Now, I believe I'm deeply connected to my soul and my source, my heart. So there's always the practices of that. But that kind of leads me in um, to promotion. All of these fun little segues is promoting anything that you've created can feel like a double-edged sword. Am I boasting? Am I bragging? Like, what's happening here? Or am I just really uh, bringing light to what's been created through me? So sometimes that's a good way to be. Like, this was created through me, especially you, Julie, has channeled a book from with alongside really Louise Hay. So what's coming through me, it's not mine. It's not mine to be, and I'm going to use the word ashamed in a way of we're not shaming our books, but ashamed of boasting. It's not me. It's what was created through me. And just like your best friend, your neighbor down the street, she makes the best cinnamon coffee cake. And you tell everybody you know, that's probably the way you introduce her, like, gosh, Cheryl makes the best cinnamon coffee cake. She's my friend, like it's celebrating something that's come through you. And when you look at it like that, if you have those kind of feelings sometimes, like, oh, or I'm tired of promoting myself. I just feel like I can hear somebody. Sometimes we're not always in alignment with all the people that are in alignment with us, but just even hearing somebody say that once could really set you back. Like, gosh, you're always talking about your book. Yes. See? So be on the lookout for things like that, because this is part of your work and into the world. And so with posts, and I'm going to get very, very soulfully inspired with you in that way, like pray for your post, create intentions for your post, behind your post. May this email, may this stage presence, may this book create. And like, I tend to order all of my own books so that I can hand write and so I can autograph them. So it's my unique piece of wanting more and my books are on Amazon also, but wanting to be more engaged with the intention behind the delivery of the book. My first book, She's Such a Treasure and Such a Treat. She comes prepackaged um, in a cellophane with a butterfly bookmark magnet and a crystal. And you can order these on Amazon, but you won't get it like this. And the price point that was I'm going to tell you the story. The price point, thank you, Julie, was if you're putting it on Amazon, because we don't really want people to buy it from Amazon. Now, this is a different idea, but you can have any idea behind your book. So that's why this truth is coming out. Because the book is bought through you so that you can have this like this. You can put your imprint on it. And I think I can set up an Amazon store and I can package it like this. But part of it was not giving Amazon so much of the proceeds that people could buy this book became a movement, a way showers wealth movement, that people could purchase the book through me and also get their own link to share the book and also make 20% off the sales that they make with their link. And so this money seemingly goes to people and not Amazon or something else. I'm not knocking Amazon. I use Amazon for every single best-selling launch that I put out into the world. Everything has a purpose. Amazon is the so how do I get my books, right? Amazon is the print on demand behind my books. So Amazon prints all my books and I have boxes of them shipped to me and they have a very reasonable price. So one part of promotion is always being willing to have your own books on hand in your car, everywhere you go. This is going to be my soul inspired version of promote your book. Every stage that you go on, every place that you go, airports, wherever you're going, always have a couple handful of books with you. That's why I like these 5x8 brand books. These concise little, they travel well. They have journal pages in them. They travel well. They're small, they're compact, they're ready to go. So I thought about that. I put thought into that because one of my big things is when I travel, like I have to bring my laptop now. I get to bring my laptop. I mean, how lucky am I to have a business on the go? Without my laptop, I don't get to create as much impact. And these big bulky books that I want to read. Now, sometimes I go Audible. Um, Sometimes I like to have a book in my hand, especially if it's an interactive book where I can write in it and do things. And I want it to be small. So that's my forward thinking about how I wanted to promote my books. So this book is on Amazon for $99 because it's not likely that people are going to pay $99 for it. And if they do, hip, hip, hooray. They can get it on my website for $55. It's autographed in purple ink, and there is an aligned the autograph and the written aspect of what I write in the book is a channeled message from Mother Mary through me to you. It all becomes a very, very unique, impactful part. This book is not like that. This fun little book, this cute little sweet little fun little childlike adventure goes with me everywhere I go. I have a couple and I give about 5 away a month. So I talked about this yesterday as part of promotion. Be willing to give some of your books away, but not all of them. I can get that. Well, it's the fastest way maybe to get it out into the world, but it's not, there's no exchange there between you and the book. And so the book perhaps takes on the worthiness that you take on, or something similar to that, right? So we're learning more and more. There gets to be an energy exchange for everything. So I say so I've been giving books to friends once in a while or things like that. I use these books on my retreats. So if you plan to have a book or host retreats, these books become the first gift that my retreat guests get. And so this one is on Amazon. You can get it for $19.99. I don't even think I have a link on my own site. Like this one has a link on my website. So they're very different. And how did I come up with that? I just, what do you want? What does the book want? I didn't even have to ask that question. I serve from a place of I'm in awareness of all the things, so I just go with it. I'm a fun gal to play with, to work with. Let me say, you want out of the box strategies? Here they are. So let's pull up my slide though. So I guess I was just sharing a little bit about how my books have been asked to be shared through me as part of me. So screen shares. How many minutes do we write? 10 minutes. We did 10 minutes. So counting your words, and figuring out how much you're writing in a 10-minute segment. And then you can say times that times 3. And now you've got words times 30 minutes, and times that by 6. And now you've got an hour's worth. And that can give you an idea. You will get faster. Sorry to break in, but you will get faster at your writing the more that you get into it. And to inspire yourself, that little kind of pre-meditation that I did before this and on day one, it's a great way to get yourself into the energy. Just close your eyes and put yourself in front of your readers and say, hey, babes, what do you want? You can call them something else, but Julie says something Louise said is that we are all channeling, even if we're not necessarily trying to channel. When we are inspired or it's flowing, it's a spirit sending it through us. Yeah. I don't have books on Audible because this one wants to have its own like Audible course with meditations. And this one too is going to be a 21-day journey. So this is, it's a 21-day journey. And so it will have an Audible journey also included with it that I'm going to create on my platform. So another idea for people with books and courses. I believe that perhaps I will get this one on Audible, Amazon, that level of Audible. Yes, I have an Audible coach that I work with. And so I have that piece, but I'm in a step by step for me, like, okay, there's all these ideas and they're all in my parking garage right now. You know, they're all, and again, with your writing, there can be a parking lot. Not everything belongs in, but sometimes we have to write things to get the truth to come out of our writing. So that's why the parking lot images for all kinds of things. Any ideas that come through that you feel like, it's a lot, I'm in overflow, put them in the parking lot. But yes, this one, and I highly encourage Audible books after you've gotten everything out. I try not to just slam my clients at once because this is a big process, bigger than some of us realize until we're really in the healing and alignment stages of it. But definitely Audible. So where are you? My slide, my sweet little slide. Here, ways to publish. Okay, promote and leverage. So I've got 6 ideas out here, and you can take a picture of this. I can't get it up any higher. Here I can. Nope, maybe like that. Number 1, build buzz. Now, again, for those of you that have already launched, build buzz for the rest of your life. This is single-handedly where I even see some of my own authors falling off. I'm going to say that. And single-handedly, the reason I created small group 3-month community spaces for marketing made simple, marketing your book, because just as much as it's helpful to have somebody inspiring me to keep writing so I get my book finished, it's helpful to be in communities where I know that I'm going twice a month to have buzz around my book and actually to create 2 weeks worth of content and schedule it on these calls, like to get these things done. instead of always wondering and worrying, which is part of the way we oftentimes find ourselves in life. Like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, and then a year goes by. So having aligned partnerships in that way, we can call them accountability spaces, but they're aligned spaces that keep me in alignment of putting myself out into the world, that inspire me to do it. Because yeah, we run out of gas sometimes, or we feel like we're the only one buzzing about our book. And when you hop into community spaces, even though there's energy exchanges with it, you get far more energy back from your book because you're excited when you're promoting it. This goes into the energy behind your post. What's the energy behind your post? Is the energy behind what I'm posting for my book or my courses or my life? Like, God, I'm so glad I finally got that out. Or is it, yes, it's out. I've got, you might be celebrating that you've scheduled 2 weeks of posts. And I've got some brilliant business mentors that I work with for myself. Yes, daily emails are a thing, and they're a good thing. Keep them short, concise, and with a little bit of value, and people will not complain when they're receiving them. And if they do, guess what? There's a rhyme. It's a nursery rhyme. Those people are not for you. You like that nursery rhyme? I didn't know it was coming. Oh, yes. So build buzz before the launch. Build buzz while you are writing your book a little bit. For heaven's sakes, you're writing copy. Pull some excerpts out from each writing session, one paragraph, and post it into a community. Put it in an email. Share it live on a stage. All these things are available. Go into your Toastmasters, go into your monthly HOA group. The VFW, whatever you have, VFW, that's like my mom coming out in me, but she's always present, and she's in me. And but go to these things, go to the cakewalk with it. Also, if you have younger children in school, moms and my 5 free books and Girl Scouts and gymnastics. And I'm just going through the things that perhaps my daughters are older now, so 21 and 18. So, but I actually gave these as gifts to my daughters for Christmas. Like, here's my new book. Here's my new book. And I don't know what they do with it. And frankly, I don't care. Maybe they give it away. Maybe they read it one day. Um, but, you know, a couple of places that I frequent, you heard this story yesterday. I like to go to the Hot Sun at Hotworks. And I gave one of the managers there my book because she had talked to me last year about maybe doing some one-to-one yoga teacher training or maybe learning more about Reiki modalities. And I thought, well, we didn't get to capitalize on that, but I can give her this book is out now. So that can help her. That can support some of the things she wants to dive into. And a week and a half later, she's like, let's set up a call. Let's set up a meeting. We want to put your books in the shop. So we want to do the 21-day journey with the Hotworks clients. So you never know. Keep building buzz. Building buzz before launch. We have something called a bestseller launch I offer my clients. It is an add-on to most of my publishing packages, and I have a small group and a one-to-one packages. And it's part of it. It's a great way to build some major buzz around your book. It definitely works better when it's a hot new release. So it's the first thing that you do over a pre-sale. Now, that being said, because some are like, what a pre-sale? I think pre-sale is a good strategy also, and it just depends on what you're looking for. The pre-sale strategy I did with this book, and it does not capitalize very quickly on the best-selling launch. So for a second book, you could try a pre-sale if that these are just the ways that I look at it for my clients. I like the best-selling launch book, The Buzz. I think it's brilliant. And just don't have anything negative to say about it. It's a process. It goes through Amazon. It's a whole strategy, and it's a good strategy. Get featured on podcast and media, and not just any. This is where we go wrong. Ideal audience. Go looking for podcast and media and stages that really do support a good bit, or at least 70% of your ideal audience. Get on your feeds if you don't know anybody. This is fun. If you work on socials, get on your social and ask your community, who do you know? And that's a great post. Who do you know that has a podcast that wants to talk about channeled messages? Um, I have a program that in my Marketing Made Simple program, I already have resources where I align clients, just like I told you that story already today about Ellen and Lee and putting the two of them together. Ellen's getting ready to launch her book. Lee's whole community is about surviving and about no longer surviving, but thriving. And it was a match made in heaven. So I like to make it even easier for you. I match my clients with people I already have in my community. That is again why, working with people through all the things, collaborating with people through many things that are in alignment with your energy and your audience is very supportive, and it does make things, just like I say, easy and fun. Now you see this too. This is another, every time you're on a screen, show your book when you talk about it. It becomes a natural habit. Uh, what we've learned from Brendan Burchard, which we got to see him, Julie and I were at a Hay House event earlier last year. Now it was almost a year ago, and Brendan Burchard was there. But like he says, there's so many touch points. There's like 11 touch points that people desire to have before they buy something from you. And every time you hold up your book and they get to see it, that's a touch point. Um, every time you bring it with you in person, even if they don't want to buy it, you don't have to give them all away. Let people touch it. Let them move through the pages of it. Uh, you know what I found myself doing out of no rhyme or reason, but I trust that every invitation that I have is actually a channeled message from my heart to source to heart, like you were saying, Julie, that every invitation is something I'm supposed to do. I don't even discern. But I like to say, oh my gosh, I open it up. This is my favorite part. I get them in the book. Use your book as an evergreen lead magnet. So those of you that are just getting ready to write and you're like, I know I need to write a book and I know that it should have some structure we talked about yesterday, and we're creating an outline, and it's really important to be in the vibration of your ideal audience, of your client attraction. How can this be a lead magnet and a relationship builder? Come on, let's really, get behind some of the unity between life and business. So in this book, this is my number one. If you take one thing away from, I'm writing my book and I'm just going to do it all myself, but I'm going to try to get as many tips as I can. Put a QR code in there. Right? I've got a QR code at the end of the introduction that goes straight to my website. If I had a specific offer, which I don't have a specific offer yet for this. So with this QR code later, when I do have that Audible version, Julie, that Audible experience, as soon as they go to the main website, I'll have a pop-up that will say, grab the 21-day version. That way, in case you're like, well, what if my links switch? Or what if because I'm in the middle of switching from one platform to another, and that's where I am. I have links in this book that only go to one platform, that go to one ticket that I'm getting ready to change the whole link on. But I did put the QR code into a main website, into a main domain that I always have control over. So use those QR codes. People love to get out their phone and scan. They do. They love to get it out and take the picture. So that's how I appeal to that. And that's how you can make it evergreen. Create a QR code for your main domain, whatever that can be, because that way you're not going to feel bad when if you have to change something, likely you won't change your main domain. So for some of you, here's a great recommendation. Go get the domain of the name of your book. I don't do that. I have my domain as marygooden.com because I'm going to put out a lot of books and I have a lot of resources. And then I have publishing. So for my domain, most of my books will be found under publishingonpurpose.com. So I have 3 different domains and a 4th one coming that relate to me. marygooden.com, Publishing on Purpose, which is my publishing arm, Buzzing with Brilliance, which is my mentorship arm. And then I'm working on my final domain. I won't bleep it out because I haven't capitalized on it yet, but it relates to my Sedona retreats. So that's one way that you can keep things evergreen, or just choosing your name as the domain. If you think you're going to do a lot of things with your name. And this works great with Google because you can Google my name, Mary Gooden, and it will pop up a lot of the things that I have. So if people get to know your name, great. If that feels odd for you and you really want to go by a brand name, relate things to that brand name, but try to keep it simple. That's why I'm switching platforms. I just am simplifying. The last 3 are all about like leveraging. So any questions that have moved forth from this promotional piece of the book, let me know. And then I'm going to talk about the bottom 3, which is attract high quality clients with your book. You're writing it to attract your ideal audience. Using your book to secure speaking and coaching opportunities. And then expand your business with new revenue streams, just like I talked about Hot Works. Actually, then I went down the street because at Hot Works we were talking about Jody, who has a tea shop, a leather local business, because I'm in a little town. And I remember going to the tea shop, and she's always selling different knickknacks of people, of locals who make things like hair bows and journals I've seen in there before, and just like a table of local created stuff. So then I'm like, Judy, bought my book. And so I left a book with her. This was all in like an hour period, like attracting. And then so she is actually an ideal client for me because she has her own business and she's stressed out beyond. And as soon as she looked at it, and every time she sees me, because I travel a lot, and she's like, "Oh my God, tell me about your exciting life." And then I give her the book, and then I see, and she's like, "I wish I could feel like that." And I'm like, "It's in the book. It's in the book. It's in the book." And then let's get, so she'll probably get the book. And also, I gave her one, but also bring it to her community because she probably can name 5 people after she reads it, like they need this book. And I'm going to make a deal with Mary, and then I can, so there. And this is how you seemingly attract high quality. You get these PayPal notifications out of nowhere. There is a link in the second section of this book that leads to one of my digital courses, my A Journey Through the Energy Body course. That whole second week is about the energy body from a very practical, this reads for everybody. This reads from a 3rd grade perspective. And then they can link to that digital course. So think about that. You can link these to, if you work with meditations, you can have links at the end of your chapters that link to meditations. These could be paid, these could be freebies, but using links in your books for the whole lead mag thing is really good, and attracting clients. So you don't always feel like you're out fishing for clients. Intentionally when you leave one book behind. How about this? Since I've given away one of these 5 books with the intention that it's going to bring me 5 new clients, period. That's the intention. Off it goes. And those clients come. And when do they come? I don't have to worry about that. They come. I have put forth an intention, and the impact that I choose to create with my book. Um, we like to attract all clients, but high quality clients are the ones that make life and business easy and fun. And you get to choose that by choosing the way that you speak through your books, through your copy, through your content. Now, what we've learned about securing speaking and coaching opportunities, the credibility behind having a book, the authority that's created. 9 times out of 10, if we're choosing keynoters, somebody's choosing a keynote speaker, and you're one of the keynote speakers that has a book, you're going to the top of the list because you've got an advantage here. And if it's a good keynote consultant that's matching people up, you know that person that's choosing you as the keynoter or putting you with the right company to choose you is going to know that you can use this as a giveaway. You can work into your keynoting fee. I'll include a book for every seat. You have something to give. I'll take 2 hours at a table at the back of the stage to sell my book. I mean, you have something more, something tangible to offer this audience. Not that your word isn't golden, but think about it. There's more. So you can work these into your keynote contracts, your speaking gigs. I would put that at the first, published author. And if you're best-selling published author, use these credentials that you have, there's an energy exchange with when you hire somebody to help you. There always is, there always should be, because the more you invest in yourself, the more you're willing to receive for yourself. I believe that wholeheartedly. And you actually have something to deliver to the people that are coming. You have a gift for the goodie bag. And coaching opportunities. I would highly consider those of you that have a book or even just courses. I'm giving away, I love to give things away, knowledge that have these things to use use your credibility to step up and uh, tell them about your book. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry. I do that. I was like, what gift am I giving away? The coaching opportunities. It'll come back to me. But, um, use the book, create a whole program on the book as a coaching space. And then this is what I wanted to go to. Create power partnerships. Create power partnerships with people that are in alignment with the same communities that you have, that have aligned communities. This is again where we're being in communities, being in some of these 3-month masterminds of whether it's marketing your book or building your business or being in small groups. This is one benefit to investing in group programs is you meet other people that are like-minded and you can create power partnerships. And seemingly this is what I've done through multi-author books. But you have 2 or 3 power partners every month promoting your book with you. And you can send them the copy and the content. My friend Julie, my friend Mary, my friend Amanda, her book is out. You can definitely do this around lunchtime. And we would so much appreciate it. Or I'm going to have Julie live in this group. So talking to these power partners, it's about sharing live experiences in their group, whether this be in person or virtual stages. Build 2 or 3. You don't have to build 10 right now. You build 2 or 3, and before you know it, in a couple months, you'll turn around and you'll have 10 to choose from easily. You don't go searching for them. It just becomes that. The more you meet people, the more you step out, the more you get into communities that are like-minded, the more opportunities you have to build. And maybe you have 6, and maybe you have a team of 10, and everybody switches off, every couple of months. It's like having a farmer's market right there. Well, There's so many opportunities there. And this is too how you create affiliateships with your book, the way shower movement. Sorry, I'm going a little bit longer, but it's fun. I'm talking about promotion. The Way Showers community book. People can have their own links to go buy your book or the course that follows your book or the course that includes your book as a free gift in the purchase. And pay affiliates. If you sell, here's your link to my course, and I'll give you 20% for everybody that clicks your link and buys my course. And look at this wealth movement. This money loves to move. It's an energy. And I like to call it like a wheel of prosperity. The water wheel. It's just a give and receive, a give and receive. So I think for long-term promotion, I'll leave you with this, I think. For long-term promotion, it is wildly beneficial for you to find a few power partnerships, even again, if that means investing in a mastermind community or something to that is relatable that can support you with something perhaps that you need so that you can meet people. That's what I did. I started speaking in a podcasters group. My friend Payman, he is a whiz at teaching people how to create their own podcast and monetize it. And I met Payman when I first was publishing my first book because I wanted to find an outlet of where I could refer my new incoming authors to a stage that they could go speak on. And his podcast is brilliant. It's called Leaders with a Heart, and plug for Payman. And so him and I met and we just hit it right off. And so as I gained authors for my first book, I had a stage to send them to right away. I was like, great, go do an interview on this podcast. Tell everybody you're sharing your story in this multi-author book. Let's get your voice cooking. Let's get you talking about it. And 6 or 8 months later, Payman's like, Mary, gosh, thank you for sending all of these amazing people. What are you doing over there? And so I was like, come and join one of my multi-author books. And he's like, no. And I'm like, join this book. And he's like, no. And then finally he's like, yes. And so he joined the multi-author book, and then he joined another multi-author book. And then he said, I want to create multi-author books for my podcast guests. So here we are streaming another stream of revenue to Payman. So now him and I co-create a multi-author book for his podcast and his guest, and he starts making money. And this wheel of exchange is just going. We are working on a volume 3 for his podcast. And so once him and I started doing that, and I started thinking, okay, this is a way for me to also create more impact and get more people in books. And it's not single-handedly just me. And so another one of my clients, Irina, she's got 2 podcasts. So she jumped on and we've done 2 volumes on her podcast. And then another woman who was doing a multi-author book, she actually did her own little writing thing. And then she wanted support with a best-selling. So it just grows organically. And it's just about getting in the room and talking about who you are and what you have and your book, like every call that I ever get on. So every month I go speak to his podcast clients about doing a book for themselves, doing a book for their podcast, doing a book and getting more ways to create more impact in the world, to create more touch points so people can feel safe and comforted by creating loving and lasting change in their life, in their community, in their world. So I think that pretty much does it. I'm going to rattle these things off just in case I missed one in promotion, right? So creating the buzz, sharing excerpts while you're writing your book, sharing excerpts even after your book is launched, giving people sneak peeks, doing chapter readings live for your social feeds or for your email list. Before launch, I always say create an opt-in, a wait list for people that they can sign up to be the first to get the links to my book when it becomes available. I use that a lot for best-selling launches. So you're already collecting emails from people that are interested, and then when you shoot the link out, people rush to buy your book. Um, Virtual book launches are fun, or just virtual spaces to talk about your book. Getting on podcasts, really fun to have a clear call to action for your podcast. And if you have a book, you've already got one. Go grab my book. Even if you're sending them to Amazon, you're still generating a way that they can connect with you because you have a QR code in your book. Um, yes, you're going to hear with when you're building a business really that your opt-in should always lead back to you. So that is how I created this one. My call to action is still go get my book, but it is an opt-in that leads right into my website and grabs their email. You don't get to do that if you send them right to Amazon, but you can create ways. Go after features on podcasts, media, stages. You are still the light behind the impact. I know some people just say, well, I'll just write a book and I'll just make it available and I don't have to do anything else. I mean, you could, but if you want a light to be evergreen on your book, if you want a light to always be shining on the impact, not you, but the impact you as a heart, as a soul came here to create, you're the energy behind that. And yes, you can train and teach and hire PR companies to help you with it. And they do desire quite a bit of energy exchange. And if it's available to you and it feels aligned with your soul, go after it. The more people screaming about your book that are in alignment with the energy, the better. What I have found just through hearsay and through my clients that have gone after some of these big PR giants is just sharing. It's not worth it because the light behind the book is you. So I'm only one. How do I make a greater impact? Create power partnerships, create deep-seated relationships with people that are able to share it for you also in the same vibration that it relates to. I think that's important. Write articles in magazines. Authority Magazine, they have a whole list of articles every month that comes out. Authority Magazine, get on their list. You can write and submit an article for free and plug your book. Yeah, read your chapter. You could run paid ads. I always like to try things that feel more organic to me, and running paid ads isn't something that feels really organic to me right now. Could change in an instant. I'm always open to receive. The book is a credibility booster to attract high quality clients. Mention your book in sales conversations. Tell everybody about your book. Make it part of your story. Don't make it, align it with your story. When you meet somebody for the first time and you start a conversation, allow this book to somehow become part of your story. When I was writing my book last year, when I launched my book in that month, you're right, just seemingly it can come out of nowhere. And then again, securing some speaking. Go out and look for speaking platforms. Hire somebody to go out and look for speaking platforms. Great job for a VA. Go find speaking platforms. Go find what you can that relates to my audience. Bring it back to me if you don't want to go do the searching. Offer VIP experiences with your book. Create retreats from your book. Create retreats from your next book. Have that in mind that, okay, I want to create something that I can give to my retreat guests. That's been a big winner for me. Offer the bulk sales. So with this local how it works, it's like you can get 10 books on your shelves for this price. You can get 20 book on your shelf for this price. Create bulk buys where people, little shops, little local shops can buy the book directly from you. Order the book from Amazon at the rate of print on demand, really low rate. Have them, bring them, let it be personal. Yeah, those are some great tips. Let's do just one run through reflection of our 5 steps, um, just so we can review everything. Where are you? There you are. And again, thanks for your time. So let's just get a recap. Whoop. Here we are, the 5 steps. Write and publish your book. We talked about writing. We talked about what are we writing? We talked about mapping out an outline. We talked about timed writing exercises so you can make that a priority on your calendar. If I'm going to write 500 words a week or 1,500 words a week or 2,000 words, and what does that come out to? If I want to write a book in 90 days, you spend the first month writing. You spend the second 2 to 4 weeks, and all of this is in my small group program. We spend 2 to 4 weeks editing, structuring, and getting it prepared. Lots of eyes on the chapter, lots of eyes on the manuscript. We spend 2 weeks on done with you, formatting and cover design. We do it together. We upload and prepare. Even if you have all this and you say, I'm going to do all this myself, but I want some help with upload and prepare. That's getting it set up on Amazon, making sure you have the right files for paperback, hardback, ebook, getting all your files together with your formatting. And that usually takes about 2 weeks. If you're doing a best-selling launch, I advise that you get support with that to get all the deets with that. That is something that is an add-on through Divine Destiny Mentoring and Publishing. And then launch and promote. Never, ever, 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 ever stop talking about your book. It's part of you. And embrace it as part of you. And if you're not quite sure how to be with the book, sit with the book and ask the book how it wants to be with you. Change the question. Yeah, so change the question. So this is everything I have for you. This is what I love. This is my why in life right now, is to hold the hands of people that are ready to share their stories, to share their medicine, their methods, their truth, their channeled information, their vibrational codes, their vision with books, and take it on stages and continue to promote it on purpose. And so I hope that you found some nuggets of wisdom in our 2-day event. I'm so grateful for your participation, for you being here to learn more about me. And if you feel compelled, if you feel like a deep desire to, of course, know more, each and every one of you, as part of your investment, was gifted a one-to-one clarity call with me. And so I encourage you to go schedule that and get some time on the books. And let's completely map out that outline. Let's talk about one way to really put your book into the world if it's already available. Let's get clear on something together and see how I can continue to support you in your efforts to create a really big and beautiful impact in the world. So you will see links. You'll get the replay link for today in your email. There will be a link to my scheduler also in the email. And I do look forward to hearing from you. And my final ask to each of you here that we're live, and I know all of you catching the replay, is to shoot me an email with 1 or 2 takeaways, 1 or 2 things that you feel like you received out of this 2-day experience with me, so that we can share that and more people can find their way to feeling safe, supported, and loved in this big, beautiful experience we call humanness, humanity. I love you all so much. Thanks for being here. And I look forward to catching up with each and every one of you soon. Bye for now, everyone.